my laptop.
That's it. We are live. Anyway, first live hangout with Mariam.
Miriam.
Sorry, Miriam. Miriam. I know it's Miriam. Miriam. Anyway,
Hi.
today is the 21st of March 2019. It's Thursday today. Time's starting to fly, isn't it, this year already? We're on the hangout with Patricia, and we have Starconnections. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Hi, I'm Miriam. And this is the second time I'm here on this hangout. So, and the last time I didn't have my camera on. And I thought, let me introduce myself so then you have a face with a voice. So I'm going to switch this off and then I'll dive into the subject that we started off last month.
Yeah, because you were a little bit shy about actually coming on a hangout, but on the second time round, ding, we're live. But anyway, it's really nice. What are you going to talk about today?
I wanted to talk about the equinoxes, the movement of the planets or the wandering stars and luminaries, the time they take to travel through the zodiac belt, and the secondary motion of the celestial or the cosmos around us. I've heard the phrase the cosmic clock, which is an old one actually, and the cosmos means ordered whole. And so the cosmos is actually what we refer to as the universe. The universe is something that did not exist in the ancient language. It's a new concept.
I really enjoyed it when you did a bit of the moon stuff last time. I found that really interesting. I think me and Patricia, like, wow, yeah, we see what you were talking about. You were going to talk a bit more about that today, so that's brilliant.
Yes, and I don't know if you have seen it. I'm going to switch this one off, and I'm going into. Let's go into here, the Stellarium. This is, by the way, a free program you can just download and check it out for yourself. It's accurate with where you are and what you can see at that moment. So I'm facing south, as you can see, and Sirius is there. So what I want to do, I haven't really been playing around with it as I thought I would have time for, but I did not. Let's go to the equinoxes. Today it is the 21st. Happy spring, actually, everybody.
Yes, that was yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah, actually in the night. Oh, sorry, I'm just gonna. I don't know how to minimize this program. That's so silly. So I'm gonna go out because I prepared a few things here. Spring equinox. And I've taken the Greenwich Mean Time, so the UTC time. Here, this is a chart from the moment that the sun entered Aries. This is the symbol for the sun. And this is the symbol of Aries. And here you see the sun is 0 Aries. Now we had a full moon, but that was a bit later, but still on 0. So that was quite nice. 0 Libra. That was a few hours after spring. Yeah, that was yesterday at 2 minutes to 10 in the evening, UK time. So yeah, this is the chart. So you had
that. So that means officially it's spring then, really.
No, it is spring. Yes.
Because you know, in the UK, our clocks don't go back until next weekend, whereas America and other places, I think they've already done it.
Yes, the continents, they have different times when they switch. It is very strange. I noticed that when I was working on my first website. And another thing that I noticed is that in Israel, they changed the time not in the weekend, but on a Thursday to Friday night. So quite interesting. No, that was.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Anyway.
But listen, the parts of America are deciding not to do time changes anymore. Arizona doesn't do it. They don't have a time change. And I think Bling Bling, she lives in Florida. So that county is, they have now moved into the, they'll have a time clock change into this time, now March, but they won't be changing it again. She thinks they're going to stay on the same time. So I wish people would wake up once they really,
Yeah,
no
basically that whole concept of summertime has to do with wartime. So the moment they introduced the summertime again, it's basically war. So that's already quite a long time. It's very strange why they do that. But anyway, it's all has all to do with business. I'm sure. Anyway, the Greenwich Mean Time, I thought it was also quite
it is to do with business. It's to keep people in the shops more in the winter. That's why they did it. It's to keep us spending money, but it's also another way of conforming to the globe.
Oops, I'll put this one here.
Okay, carry on.
Yeah, this is the because the timeline of Greenwich Mean Time as being the middle line of from where we decide when the day starts, or yeah, as a middle line for the division of time that has been decided, as you can see, on the 1st of October 1884 in Washington. The middle line of the time before that, but I remember for many years, I've heard it several times, but I cannot find it back on the internet, is this one. This was the old line, and it went through Crete, the middle of Crete. That is the division of time. That's actually where the...
Do you know when that was?
That must have been then before 1884.
Whoops, sorry, my phone's always going. Ah.
Yeah, but we don't learn that, you know. It's only when I started with astrology about Greenwich Mean Time. So it was the first thing that I learned, why Greenwich Mean Time is the time that they chose. But that has to do with these guys.
Hey, can I ask you, as you've looked it up, what was the reason then that they chose England?
Well, I think when you look at this map, they want, I have no idea. I think it's a very interesting thing to have a closer look at, actually, because that makes actually maybe this part is not like this, but like this. And this not like that, but like this, if you get what I'm saying. And this is the middle line. Here somewhere, this one. Oops. So yeah, I don't know. It is anyway the division of time. It's whichever way you lay it. Even if you would put it here, it is man-made. So yeah, let's go to the to this one, the stellarium, and then for today the sun rising.
I just say that Costa in the chat room, he's just put before that it was Egypt.
Oh right, yeah, possible. But if you look at the, oh, it's just gone again. But I'm sure Egypt is below Crete, isn't it? If you take the line all the way down, it's back already. But let's have a look on this one. I just want to get a few hours back to. There we go. Time to the morning, because then we will see that the sun will come up. Where is the sun? At east, right? The east. Yeah, that is where the sun rises. So if we take it then to the 21st of June, which is then the next equinox. Yeah, that is the summer solstice. We have the, yeah, I find it actually very irritating that I cannot minimize. If anybody knows how to minimize this program, Stellarium, then please let me know, because it would be very handy. so with east and with autumn, which is then on the 23rd of September, the sun will rise at the east, actually most closely to the east point. Then with the 21st of June, the sun will rise more to the north, as you can see here. And then she will rise, or yeah, the sun, I refer to her as she. I don't know why, but the Japanese see her as a female and the moon as male. So I don't know, you know, each culture has different, how would you say, avatars or gods or archetypes, as Jung says, for these beings. Anyway, she's rising there, and then if we go to the 23rd of, that's the 23rd of September, that is 9, then the sun rises, and a bit later, of course, because it's winter. The sun should be rising again at the east side, as you can see here. And then in December, the sun will be rising more to the south, as you see. Yeah, that's actually, and then for 3 days, the sun will rise at the same point before turning back to the north for the summer.
Yeah, we see that.
Yeah, that's more clear than I think last time, because I was really all over the place. I think this is so you can get a good picture. Now, very interesting thing, someone contacted me over Facebook and asked me about the Mayan calendar as well. The Mayan calendar, we know not really that much about it. For so far I know, has only Jose Arcuelas been the one that has been his whole life researching to figure it all out again. He wrote a book, the Mayan, the Mayan Factor, and several other ones. And then you have the other one, the history, the chronicle, the history, the book, Book of Avatar, which is really very, very interesting stuff. But if you take the calendar, they use the moon, the 13 moon calendar, and they have a day out of time. The day out of time is the 25th of June, I think. Was it June or July? July, 25th of July. And that has to do with the rising of Sirius, if I'm correct. So we can take that, and we have seen that. Wait, let me see. We need to go, we go in the 2020. We go back the 7th. And then the 25th. And then we have to go to the night, or we take the sun away. Yeah, they're Sirius. So let's see, with sunrise, or I guess it doesn't really have to do with, yeah, it should be with the sunrise that Sirius comes to the horizon, because Sirius is in Cancer. So that is when the sun is in Cancer, then Sirius is rising. If I'm correct, it is 13 degrees. Yeah, 14 degrees Cancer is Sirius. So that has to do with that. And then because of the movement of the fixed stars moving 1 degree in 72 years, and then you have 360 degrees.
That's all it moves in, the stars. The star moves in 70 years is 1 degree.
72 years, yes.
72 years. That must show that we're not moving.
Yeah, no, exactly. Everything around us moves. In 24 hours, the whole cosmos makes a whole turn around us. And then the wandering stars and the luminaries are the sun and the moon, and the wandering stars are Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. But we can just refer to them as planets, doesn't really matter. I mean, doesn't to me. We know what we're talking about. I'm gonna take this one out. Oh yeah, that's also quite an interesting thing. In Egypt, when I was there, in Abu Simbel, I think it is, Abu Simbel, where they have taken the whole dam away. Or they made a whole dam, so they had to take the whole construct of that building. They replaced it, and this is in the inside of the second temple. And apparently, on each of the equinoxes in the morning, the sun rises and lights one of the faces of these gods. So that's also very interesting. But now they are one day after. When I was there, one of the guys, because I walked away from the crowd, so I ended up in this one. And I didn't have a camera with me, so it's not my photo. But he told me that because they moved it, it's now one day later or something like that. But I don't know. I wasn't there. I haven't witnessed that, so I don't know. But I thought that was quite interesting. Yeah. So the secondary motion of the planets, oh, we have to go back again to this one. I've been very busy with other things as well.
Yeah, you're getting a web page together, aren't you?
Sorry?
You're getting a web page together, aren't you?
Not well, the website is there, but I'm working on getting a YouTube video out on her story. What happened to her, you know? I think that's quite missing. You only hear about his story, but not her story. And astrology is a very feminine thing. We are physically already connected to the moon, you know, every month. I'm not anymore, but you know, every woman is. And you can put a clock onto it. And it goes exactly with the moon, 28 days. Let's see, what do we have here? I have no idea what that is. That's this program. They're so funny. They bring some extra things, and sometimes you see a UFO passing by, you know.
So, or the space station, I bet you that floats past sometimes as well.
Yeah, oh, I'm sure, yeah. And a whole Lego, what's it, that Tesla car made out of Lego blocks or something.
Yes.
Yeah. I want to get the planets in there. Or the constellations, sorry, the constellations, the planets are there already. Okay. Is this today? Am I correct on the day for today? Where are we? The 21st? Yes, that's now. So the moon is up. Oh yeah, we had a full moon yesterday. I don't know if people know what full moon, the moon is opposite the sun. And with new moon, the moon is with the sun. I think everybody gets that now. Huh? And when you can see the moon during the day and the sun is out, that's logic, because the moon is then not so far from the sun. I mean, moves opposite. They make a circle around us. Yeah, like this.
I was a bit shocked with our connection with Australia that for us to have warm weather here, the sun has to be high in the sky. But in Australia, for them to have warm weather, the sun has to be low in the sky.
Yeah, weird. I don't know. It's fascinating. I find it so fascinating because maybe it is just a reflection what we see. Who knows? I have no idea. You know, it's. I think it's really fascinating. Anyway, let's have a look here. If we go a day back in time, the moon will be more towards the south from the east. I mean, more towards the west from the east. Let's see. I don't want to get too confusing now. Let's see. Zodiac belt. People know what zodiac belt is? The zodiac belt are the 12 birth signs. And then we have a whole lot of other constellations. And through all the different cultures, they must have been changed from the one god into the other. And all those, a lot of the mythologies are traditional bedtime stories. You know, you see the one thing coming up, and then as you tell the story, the sky moves, and then at the end you see something else coming up on the east, which furthers then the story that has been told. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, sorry, I'm only muted because I'm listening.
Yeah, I think that's called astrotheosophy or something. Possible. I'm not so familiar with these terms, but I know exactly what it is. Okay, so we go one day back, and then we can see the moon. Oops, no, wait, I must do it. This is a month back. Yes, these are the months. Sorry. This is fine. This is fine. So it's 9 o'clock on the 21st of February. Yeah, that's the date what we see here. So now we go one day further, and then the moon. Wait, it's the 21st. No, the moon is quite low. I need to have another date. I will go a bit further in time here. Sorry, well, I'm just trying to figure out again. Where is the moon now? No, should be all right. Then we go just a little bit later in time. So 3 o'clock at night. Yes, the moon is there. Bring it a little bit closer. Oops. So now when we go again, the next day at 3 o'clock at night, the same time, or this is 3:40, the next day, then, hey, how is that possible? The moon, oh yeah, there it is going. The moon is moving towards the east, as you can see, which do all the other planets as well. Like here's Jupiter. Only Jupiter takes about 12 to 13 years to go travel the other direction, this direction. You can see it the fastest with the moon because the moon moves through the zodiac belt in 28 days and then back here again. So that's what I wanted to show again. I think that is that clear?
Yeah, we can see it perfectly.
Okay, but is it? Do you understand? I mean, how's the chat doing? Are people understand what I'm saying about the secondary motion?
Nimblehorse has put astral theology.
Ah, yeah, astrotheology. That is say the mythology and astrology. It's the stories, our traditional bedtime stories. That's what I say about them. I don't know. So everything turns around us, and then the planets move the other direction, but you will see them moving along with the night with the night sky along towards the west. Although they are in fact traveling to the east. Yeah? Are there any questions on that one?
Oh, Stan's in there. Hi, Stan. I call that the scan lines. That's what Stan calls them.
The scan lines.
Stan, what Stan does is he's got a 360 camera.
Oh, that the scan line. Sorry, I'm just putting you on so I can get as well. Yeah.
He also puts all his data into these 3D, his goggles. What do you call them? 3D. What do you call them? I can't think what they're called now. Stan, what are they called? Virtual reality ones, and then you can see what happens with the sun and the moon, and they come out of the ground and go into the ground in your perspective.
Right. He's observing
what I will do is when we finish the hangout, I will send you some of Stan's work.
Okay, excellent.
VR headset he uses.
Excellent. Yeah, great. Because that's it's fascinating. So then what do we have more? Venus is a very interesting one because she is the morning star and the evening star. So she has a very regular movement of 18 months. Am I correct? Yeah, 18 months. She goes direct. Then she goes for 6 weeks into the underworld, as they say, either behind or in front of the sun. So you can't see her, so she goes into the underworld, which is then retrograde, her retrograde mode. And then she will come up at the other side of the sun, either as the morning star or the evening star, again for 18 months. And then again 6 weeks retrograde, 18 months direct morning or evening star. And over a long period of time, if you observe that, she makes a perfect pentagram, the 5-pointed star. That's why Venus is associated with the 5-pointed star, because she's making that, she makes these 5 points by her retrograde mode at these regular intervals of each 18 months, 6 weeks, 18 months, 6 weeks, like that. Then there is another very interesting thing with the moon. The Ceres cycles, they are related to the, let's put something nice up here. I've got here maybe something. Okay, there. Let's put this. The Ceres cycles, they have to do with the eclipses. And I'm not so familiar with how to calculate those ones. But the moon makes another very interesting, very accurate, precise cycle with the sun, and it is every 19 years. Every 19 years to every hour of the day, every day, the sun and the moon have the exact same position. So the full moon we had last night, 19 years ago, we had not exact the same full moon, because it was a 0, yesterday it was a 0, or last night it was an exact 0 degrees Libra and 0 degrees Aries, the sun in Aries and the moon in Libra, opposite of each other. But 19 years ago, it was 29 degrees of Pisces, the sun, and 29 degrees of Virgo. So then I checked if it is moving, but then I went back all the way to 1905, every 19 years back. I did it several 19 years back, and then it fluctuates. Sometimes we have this full moon, 0 degrees Aries, Libra, and sometimes 29 degrees Pisces, Virgo. So, but that comes back every 19 years. So the position as how they are at this moment is the same as 19 years ago. So if you are born with under a full moon, then when you turn 19 or when you are turning 19, it will be full moon again. Now, this does not go up with the eclipses. It's not that every time there is an eclipse, every 19 years there will be that eclipse again. Because the eclipses, they have to do with the nodes. And I have to go, I'll show you what the nodes are. Let's go here. These are the nodes. In the Vedic astrology, it is Rahu and Ketu. And the Western astrology, it is the northern and the southern moon nodes. And then there are also the dragon head and the dragon tail. I like them as the dragon head and the dragon tail. I don't know why, but it's, yeah, many variations that you can adopt when you do astrology. And as long as you know what you're talking about and what they're standing for. So there could not be an eclipse with this full moon, as you can see, because the nodes are too far away from the sun and the moon. They need to be close within, traditionally, I believe, within 18 degrees. I'm not sure. But then most modern programs and ephemeruses will give a different node. I'm using the mean node, and most will give you the true node. And the mean node is apparently more accurate. I'm not sure about it. I have no idea how to calculate these things. So yeah. So that is that of the eclipses and the 19-year cycle of the moon. And the Ceres cycle is different than the 19-year cycle of the moon. Yeah?
I'm not sure if Martin Truelove is asking you or Stan, because obviously Stan takes masses of photography of the moon, and he's got a cameras going all the time in time lapse and stuff like that. But he's put, I asked, what is blocking the sun during a solar eclipse? Do you know? Just asking.
I have no idea. A few years ago, when this whole this super eclipse, let's call it the super eclipse, because we've got now also super moons and super red moons. I don't know. It's all this super thing. I don't know. Anyway, the eclipse that went over the States. So suddenly everybody pulled out all their information and research on the eclipse, and I actually like the concept of the Vedic, you know, that there are other bodies, other entities eating the sun or something. I don't know. No, I've got a book. Let me. Oops, they've asked me to translate it, but I don't know. I must actually see if I can get hold of this guy, because we've got some excellent astrologers in Holland, but they live like hermits and they do not do internet. Old-fashioned. This is a guy called George Bode, and he brought out a book, Black Moon, Black Sun, and Dragonhead. And I try to get through it, but it is really, really difficult. And I'm not sure if he's using the traditional information on a fixed stationary Earth or a spinning ball. So I need to actually get hold of him and get it clarified, because that he is explaining something like what you have with the prisma, that the light facets move differently, something like that, but I've no idea. Something like that. Yeah?
Sorry, say that last bit again.
What I understand of how he describes it, it's like like the light that comes off of a prisma. Like when you have a glass with different facets, and then the light catches through it and flashes through on another side, and I don't know, like this whole mirror effect, and I have no idea. Something like that. It's several years ago that I tried to get through the book, but then, yeah, so many books. Let me see. He wrote this it came out in 2001, so I'm not sure if he's on the, because the information of the Project Hindsight was already out, and he was involved with the same person who financed that project and financed him as well to get the book out. So I'm not sure if he knows about the other information. But it is anyway very interesting concept to think it as well as they're like it has to do with the ecliptic. When the sun and the moon move over the ecliptic, it is some sort of a crossing point. That's what the nodes are. So they could, because they are involved with an eclipse. Look, a total eclipse, the nodes need to be really there, right on the same degree or 1 degree off. But a partial eclipse, and that is when you see, for instance, only a part of the sun, or being blackened out, or part of the moon being blackened out. That is when the nodes are further away from the sun and the moon, because the nodes are always opposing each other. And with a solar eclipse, it is a new moon, and with a lunar eclipse, it is a full moon. Yeah?
Yeah. Well, the chat room are gassing away in there.
Okay, my laptop blacked out, so there it is, back again. Well, I can't read that fast. Are there any questions on this?
Yeah, just have to wait for the chat room just to catch up a moment, because it's I don't know how many seconds behind it is. Have we got any questions?
Anyway, I think it is exciting times with this whole realization of that we are living on a fixed stationary plane, and yeah, so all the old information of the astrologers is coming back to life again. Yeah, and actually it brings up all the other surge that we are dealing with, if you get what I mean. The 9/11, the vaccinations, the poisoning, the solar radiation management, engineering, you name it, all of that. I always thought it was common knowledge, that people knew about that, but it wasn't. But it's quite interesting to see that people that the reality of our Earth being fixed is so right in your face, and it is such a big lie that it's such a shock for everybody, actually. And then to realize, like, wow, what else? What is there more that is not real and that is wrong and we've been lied to? So then the whole rest comes up, and everybody's really fanatic and getting out and on the street. And yeah, I think that is excellent. I've been out my whole life lecturing everybody everywhere where I come, like yeah, even in shops and wherever I can. About yeah, the food, the water, the air, just the basic things. You know, that is, yeah. So I think this year we are in a very interesting time. I made this chart of the beginning of this year with the moon. I think it was the moon sitting on 29 degrees of Pisces. That is where you have a sheet. That is a fixed star of disaster, they say, traditionally. But it is also associated with philosophers and free thinkers. So I think then, well, let's take the opportunity to free our minds and change our worldview. So that's how I like to use the planet, you know, to see what is given, what are they doing. So let's make use of it, you know, like use them in a positive way, the energies. Because that's what the people that have the knowledge and they're misusing it, and because it is a ground base of magic, and magic is neither black nor white. You know, it depends on what you're doing with it. Makes it wrong or right. As long as it is used for the benefit of everybody, it can't harm. It's okay. And yeah. Any questions?
It takes quite a lot to understand what you're doing, though, doesn't it? It's not just something you could pick. You know, you need to learn about astrology to understand where you've got to in it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you have to really integrate it and understand and test yourself. You know, is this really true? You know, am I not? Is my will not stronger than these planets? You better use them in a positive way.
Yeah, well, it's very interesting what you're saying about the moon. I don't think a lot of people know that. Probably if you're a flat earther, you do, but a lot of people don't understand that thing of the moon. Excuse me, my phone's messaging away. It's very interesting. I really like it. Can you tell us a bit more?
Yes, sure. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's a nice thing to do. Let's go to oh, sorry. Shit.
No, we have to finish when we do that.
Oh, we need to get out now?
Yeah, we'll come back and do the second bit. It's a short one tonight, guys. She's shown the link and I have to stop the hangout.
Oh.
Yeah. Wait a minute, we'll talk off air. Chat room.
Oh, sorry about that.